is Tandy's daughter, in fact. It's so hard to see her in there. Carl, you're wondering what is my favorite big cat in Africa? It's actually the cat that Tristan's looking at, that Tristan has found this afternoon, the lion. I love the lions. I've loved leopards too, because they're so beautiful, and the way that they can climb trees is just amazing. But I have a soft spot. Perhaps it's because my hair sometimes looks like a male lion's mane, especially if I haven't brushed it in the morning and I've just woken up. Look how she's staring at us. That's incredible, Sebastian. It's kind of a little bit scary, don't you think? That we can't really see her. The only way we see her is when Sebastian zooms in like this. And she's watching us. She's making sure we don't make any sudden movements and we don't get too close to her. I don't know if her cub is with her, or maybe she has stashed it somewhere in the bushes away from her. Or that cub could just be hiding under the tree, but we're not going to move around too much because we don't want to scare her. We don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. Right, off you go, back across to Tristan, whose lioness is still staring into the distance.
She is. I think she's in a situation where she's hoping for some sort of a meal to come past and through the trees and just down to this waterhole that she can maybe try and hunt. But she's a little young for that. I don't think she's going to get it right, unfortunately. But we'll see. You never know. So Lexi was very dependent, but on average in this area, normally 3 to 4 cubs is how many a lioness will have, but they can have less. Sometimes we just see a lioness having just the one, and sometimes you can see them having up to even 8, but I've never seen 8 personally. The most I've seen is 7 little cubs with a lioness, which is a lot of mouths to feed, and it takes a big toll on a lioness because she has to provide milk for that many, and it makes life very, very difficult. But normally we see 4. That's the kind of average. 3 to 4 is the average that we see in this area. So Sam, no, there's no such thing as mating season for the big cats. The big cats will mate any time of the year. You'll find that as long as a female comes into estrus and is able to mate, then the male will find her and try. Now, it doesn't matter if that's summer, winter, autumn or spring, and the reason why that is because big cats eat meat, and there's always meat around, so they don't have to kind of time their young ones roughly in the season where there's going to be more. They generally have their cubs at any single time, and they can normally provide enough food for them and be able to actually feed them and raise them. Doesn't matter if it's at any time of the year. Also, the cats look after their young for very long periods of time. You'll have a situation where lions will look after their young ones. If it's a female, she'll be absorbed into the pride, but even males, the mother is looking after them until they're around 3 years old, and then they start to hunt for themselves and form part of the pride. But up until then, it's a situation where they're pretty dependent. So long time on their mother means that they will mate any time, because if they had to wait for a season, then they're going to have less cubs throughout their life. And any animal out here is designed to try and have as many offspring as possible. Shame. She's looking around hoping that something's going to appear. Aiden, well, it's difficult with big cats because they are opportunistic, particularly an animal like this. It's going to try and find food at any opportunity it can, but they generally try and hunt in the darker periods of the day, so just after sunset and just before sunrise, and a little bit through the night, depending on what's around. So another pride of lions that was in this area last night, they were chasing buffalo around during the course of the night, and that's when their kind of peak activity is, so from sort of sunset to sunrise. But I also have seen lions hunting in the middle of the day at 12 o'clock in bright sunlight, going after things. And in fact, this little lioness actually caught a terrapin today, so a type of turtle. She caught one in one of these pans a little bit earlier in the day and had a snack on that. It wouldn't have been enough nutrients to fill her, but at least she found something in that regard. So they can be quite active during the day as well, but generally their hunting is around sunset, sunrise, sort of hours and into the darkness beyond. So it's an interesting kind of thing that they spend a lot of time. They're better designed for nocturnal hunting than they are for diurnal. The animals that are active during the day have very good eyesight, good hearing, good sense of smell, and so during the day is easier for them. When it gets dark, the cats have much better senses and it becomes much easier for them to try and hunt certain individuals. So that's why they try and spend more time at night moving around. Right, now Taylor has managed to find a leopard. We have got this young lioness, and, well, Brent, who was supposed to be the one to find the leopard first, is still driving around, apparently covering a lot of distance.
Making the noises exactly that Brent was making. And this little cub is very, very, very young. So I'm just looking around. It's not really used to cars. It's not really used to the sounds of our voices. So I just want to make sure that I can see where it's coming from. It might be a little bit shy to come out, and I know leopard cubs very well. They don't like to listen to their moms when they're called. Let's see if we can hear her calling. Now she doesn't want to make a sound. I was hoping she was going to carry on calling, but I think she's tired of calling her little one now. There we go. Did you hear that sound? I think she's getting a bit annoyed. It's a very soft sound. Now, Kaylee, you were wondering at what age do the cubs or do the leopards go off on their own? She sounds very concerned. The boys normally stay with mom for a little bit longer than the girls. So sometimes the males can stay with their mothers for up to between 16 and 18 months old. So almost 2 years, but not quite 2 years. And the girls will sometimes leave a little bit earlier than that. Here. She's going, please come, I'm calling you. That little cub is going to be in trouble if it doesn't listen to mom. I don't know if the cub is a boy or a girl. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet. So it'll be quite nice to see. Come on. Where are you hiding? And mom would have hidden it as well. And Lily, I think you and I are on the same page, because I was just about to answer your question, which was, why do they hide their cubs? So they're very vulnerable for the first couple of weeks of their life. So mom needs to keep them hidden away, nice and safe from other leopards, from things like baboons, hyenas, lions, that if they came across them, they would kill them. So that is why they hide their cubs. So if they have eaten something, mom will call them out, suckle their little ones while she's had something to eat. And then when she's finished, she'll play with them for a little bit, and then she'll send them away. They don't normally just have one cub. They can have up to 3 or 4 cubs. But for a first-time mother, because she's still very young, it's the first time that she's had cubs, normally one is normal. So now we just have to wait patiently. But it could end up that she ends up calling for an hour before she gets tired of that little one's nonsense and then decides, right, I'm going to come and fetch you. And it's like when you go to the shopping center and you've run away from your mom and your mom calls. And if you don't come after the 5th or 6th time that mom has called, you know that you're going to be in big trouble and probably get grounded or something like that, or no sweets for you. Now, Tia, you're wondering how old do leopards normally live for? Again, it depends. Remember, these are wild animals. So out in the wild, their lifespan will be a little bit shorter than if they were living in captivity. Life is very tough for them in the wild, but of course it's the life that they know. Leopards can live up to 14, 15 years old. I know a leopard that only died at 16. She almost turned 17 years old. Her name was Nottins. She was a very old girl. She was lucky to live that long, but I would say for a female, around 14 years is a good age, and for males, normally maybe between 12, 13 years old. But again, they can also live a little bit longer. It just depends on what's happening in the area. Life is tough for a leopard out here. And this little leopard, if we ever get to see it, unfortunately doesn't stand a good chance of survival. Life is so hard. Imagine having to try and hide away, hope that no new male leopards come into the area, because if they do, and their cub is too young, they're going to kill them. The male leopards don't want to raise or pass their genetics on to and help protect a leopard that is not theirs. She stopped calling now. I think she's tired. Just sitting back down in the grass again, under a nice shady tree. It's a good spot that she's got here. A very nice spot. And also the clouds are going past the sun every now and then, which is making it nice and cool for Sebastian and I. Luckily for us, we don't have a big coat of fur like that leopardess does. Can't imagine how hot she must be feeling. Right, well, we're definitely not going to go anywhere. We're going to just sit here and hope that the little leopard cub comes out so we can find out if it's a boy or a girl. Let's go see what Tristan's lioness is now doing.
Well, our lioness got up a little bit and she walked not far, maybe about 20 meters, and then decided to lie down again. And shame, she's looking on the skinny side and really does need a good meal and mom, I think, to look after her. Caden, you're asking if lions or leopards can be born with defects such as birth defects, such as something like autism. Well, they can be born with defects in that they might have something wrong with a leg or a spine, and maybe there are lions that do have mental conditions, but it's difficult to say, because generally any animal that is born with some sort of a defect like that that inhibits its ability to move or to keep up or to try and kind of find food for itself generally doesn't last very long out here, unfortunately. So you have a situation with any animal, even this lioness. This is a perfectly healthy lioness prior to her leaving the pride, but it's very difficult for her to survive because of the number of other predators out here. So things like hyenas, other lions, leopard, wild dogs, they all cause a lot of danger for animals. And so anything that's born with some sort of a defect often, unfortunately, doesn't make it very far past the first few weeks and unfortunately dies and gets caught by something. But, I mean, I've never seen a situation where I've seen any sign of autism or anything like that within a lion or a leopard that is born in these areas. Maybe it does happen, but I don't think so. I don't think autism is prevalent in cats at all. And like I say, most of the issues that we have within cats and things like that would be more physical deformities in the event of maybe something like spinal kind of deformity or something on the legs or something like that. And it's normally brought about by inbreeding. It's not actually something that is brought about kind of in a wild population that has good genetics. You very seldom see anything with lions where there's deformities unless they've been bred pretty much interbred with their own family for a number of generations. Then you might start to see things like that happen, but it's not something we see every day at all. And there's some diseases and some things that happen to people that won't happen to animals at all, and you'll have a situation where some animals will suffer from things that we don't suffer from. So something like foot and mouth, for example, we don't get it, but some of the animals will get it. Now, Mackenzie, you're asking if some of the animals are endangered that are here. Yes, there are quite a number of endangered animals. There's one of the most endangered animals that we have is another type of predator, which is called the wild dog, and the wild dogs are very cool animals, and I'm sure Brent would love to find some wild dogs this afternoon because that's his absolute favorite animal, and they're really, really cool. So in terms of endangered animals, wild dogs, cheetah, lions are starting to become a bit of an endangered species. We're seeing a situation where a lot of lions, unfortunately, are being missed and being moved and being killed and being hunted in places where they shouldn't, and so their numbers are declining. We've got animals here that's like the pangolin, which is one of the most endangered animals in the world and one of the most trafficked animals in the world, which basically means that people are illegally hunting them and sending them overseas, and so they are also under huge threats. And there's a number of others in the bird and insect world as well. But unfortunately, it's that time of the day where we need to say goodbye to all of you. I hope that you guys had a wonderful time with us during the course of this 45 minutes and that you are going to have a great day further at school. And I hope that you don't get too much homework and that you come along on a safari at another stage with us here. Right, now, while we kind of sit with our lioness, the rest of you, we're going to send you off to Brent and we're going to continue our safari and see where Brent is and what he's been up to.
What happened? Absolutely bolted. Oh my gosh, I think this is Styx. That is where Kuchava was, and that's where Seb and I think there was a kill, because you remember how we said during the school drive we could smell rotting flesh? So I think that's what they're scrapping over. Kuchava bolted north in the direction that she's been looking to find that cub. I'm sure this is the Styx Pride. Let's go forward, Seb. Let me get in there quickly for you. Hold on. We'll go back and try and find Kuchava. Let's just see what's going on in here first. Yeah. Definitely the Styx Pride. Very, very mangy, I'm afraid. Look how they're smelling. Look at these. Look at the lionesses. They know that there was a leopard here. They know. They're on her scent. I hope that Kuchava runs in the direction of her cub and takes it very, very, very far away from here. These cats are hungry. Not that they'd necessarily be wanting to eat that leopard cub, but they will try and kill Kuchava and her little one. That is the reality out here. They're both competing for the same kind of food. I don't know what they're... Oh, it looks like it maybe was a day. Could you see the head there, Seb? Let me go forward a little bit. And then... Okay. Now, if you look, I saw one of the youngsters. It looked like a Dacre head that they had. So that must have been what the kill was. I'm just looking with my binoculars. Because Seb and I are in different spots, we can see different sections. Now, I'm pretty sure Kuchava had eaten most of that already. I don't think there would have been much left on there. Especially for these guys to scrap like that. I mean, a Dacre is a tiny meal. I'm just looking to see where those lionesses have gone. Did you see where they went? Oh, no, me as I was... Yeah. Oh, there might be a little bit left there. Looks like they're pulling a relatively good amount of flesh off. I don't know where the lionesses have gone. I'm trying to see if... Oh, there's one. They're moving straight in the direction exactly as to where Kuchava was. They're looking around, looking up in the trees. You see that? Now, I believe you're all very stressed. Me, even me. My heart is sitting in my feet at the moment. I couldn't work out why that leopard ran like she did. I thought that maybe she'd seen something going towards the area that her cub was in, and then Seb shouted, "Lion behind us, lion." That was crazy. Okay, good. They're going in the opposite direction now. Now they're going back west. That's amazing. Now they must have smelt this carcass. They must have smelt it. Because, or combination of smelling it and perhaps picking up on Kuchava's contact calls. And then they came running on in. Like I said, it's a dog-eat-dog world out here, or cat-eat-cat world in our case. These are the sub-adults fighting here. I have not seen the Styx Pride for an exceptionally long time. It's been really, really, really a while since I last saw them. Do you know what I'm going to do? At some point, I'm going to have to try and get hold of Sheldon. And my radio doesn't work down here to tell him what's actually happening. Because he was the one that told me about Kuchava as well. And helped me get into the sighting, pointed me in the right direction. Again, we're all on our own. There's one of the lionesses. I think what she's going to do is she's going to go to the other sub-adult that's run off a little bit south of here with some scraps and probably try and take it away from it. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's 6 Styx sub-adults left. But I can't even remember. The last time I saw them, they must have been, the oldest cubs must have been about 7 months old, and I think the youngest ones were about 3 months old. It was quite a while ago, though. Anyway, it doesn't really sound like there's too much left. It did look like a little common Dacre that Kuchava had caught. Ooh, big fights going on here. All normal, of course. Remember, these animals don't have any table manners. They eat how they want to eat. And if you aren't savage and quick enough, you'll leave the table with no dinner. No, Styx Pride not looking good, though. Very mangy. They look even more mangy than when I last saw them. Seb, what do you think we should do? Do you think we should quickly go and check where Kuchava went? There's a massive jackalberry tree behind us. that if I was her, that's where I would have gone. Whew. I am sweating. Not because it's hot anymore, because my nerves. I promise you, it's like being a worried parent out here with all these animals. I mean, my hat was almost off my head. Just a branch whacked my face. So basically what's happened is that Kuchava ran north in the direction of her cub and then has slunk all the way back round. And now she's sitting west of where those lions were, sort of scavenging over the rest of her kill. All the growling and stuff is basically stopped now, as I think that they've devoured the leftover dacre. I don't think Kuchava's going to make any noises at the moment. I think she's going to sit as quietly as she can. So she's obviously come back to see what's going on. I think she wants to see maybe how many lions are in the area, what's going on. Are they going to go towards where her cub is stashed? I don't think the lions know where the cub is. Whew. I'm just glad we found her. Hey, big girl, well done. That was quick, let me tell you. Until you see a leopard running away from lions, you don't realize how fast they can actually move. They are quick off of the mark. And you can see every now and then she stops panting to listen as to what's actually going on over there, but I can't hear the lions anymore. She needs to be careful. Those Styx lions are relentless. They just have a look about them today. And I don't think Kuchava or her little one needs to be anywhere near them. They need to stay as far away as possible.
Well, here we go. We've got a beautiful big male leopard named Tingana. And he's looking a bit hungry, so he's on the hunt. So let's stick with him. At this time of the day, as it starts to get cooler, your big cats get on the move and start hunting. Oh, he's going into some thick stuff there. Oh, it looks like he might have spotted something. Here we go. He's definitely interested in something. There could be impala here, there could be waterbuck. See how he stops and he listens. Because you must remember, he's quite low in the grass compared to a human being. So he can't always see what we can see up above. So he has to use his sense of smell, his ears. Now, isn't this fun? Not only are we following a leopard, we're driving off-road through the bush. Clark is wondering what part of Africa we're in. Clark, we're in the southern part of Africa, on the eastern side of a country called South Africa, and we're in an unfenced wilderness that's about 2.5 million hectares called the Greater Kruger National Park, and we're in the northern Sabi Sands, and we have been on 2 game reserves called Djuma and Chitwa private game reserves this afternoon on your safari. Alex is wondering how thick is the vegetation. It's varied, Alex. You've got some areas that are very, very thick, and you've got some areas that are more open. It is what we call savanna. Well, in this case, it's a very specific type of savanna. It's called broad-leaved woodland, made up mostly of terminalia, marula, combretum, and acacia trees. Isn't he beautiful? So you can see that big, thick neck of his. Now, that hanging skin there is called a dewlap, and that helps him when he's fighting with other male leopards to have a little bit of protection. Hello, big boy. Jonah is wondering how important leopards are to Africa. Well, very, very important. All the animals are important. Each animal has its own niche in the ecosystem, and if you remove any one of them, something else will suffer. So he's just listening very carefully. Wilna is wondering, are leopards bigger than, stronger than lions? Not at all. Even a small lioness is bigger than him, and he's a very big adult male. So a male lion in this area averages around 190 to 200 kilograms. Adult lioness around 100 to 115 kilograms. A really big male leopard, maybe 90 kilograms. Oh, has he spotted something? See how focused he is. There might be something up ahead there. It could be waterbuck, impala, and nyala. There's a whole host of different animals that he could be stalking at the moment. I can't see anything through the bush at the moment. But that's one of the reasons why I'm not parked directly behind him. I'm parked to the side. I don't want to interfere in his hunt. While we see what the leopard does next, where he heads to, let's go to Taylor, who's got some playful pachyderms.
We've got the coolest sighting ever this afternoon. These elephants are really, really, really swimming now. Have a little listen to them. That one must have got a bit of water in its eye. It kind of looks like me in the shower when I accidentally open my eyes when I'm washing my hair. And probably giving them a good clean too. And get lots and lots of dust in their eyes. And the reason why they need to make sure they give them a good dust, the Seb, actually just above them on the dam wall, there's some elephants that are covering themselves with dust. So now you can see why they need to give themselves a chance to wash their eyes. They're doing it all wrong. They're doing it in reverse. You're first supposed to bath in the water and then you're supposed to get out and cover yourself in dust. That's how it normally happens. Well, that's very cool. Look at the way they're blowing the dust up with their trunks. That would be an awesome photo. Oh, wow. So this is the next herd that's making their way down the steep bank. I can't get over this. Now, oh, come on, little baby elephant. I can't wait to see that little one come down. Sorry, Caden, I'm getting distracted. You were wondering how many species of elephants are there? Well, there should only be the Asian elephant and then also the African elephant, which is the one that we're getting. But then you do get subspecies. So you also get the forest elephant, which you can see in Gabon and even in the Congo. But down here, we're looking at the savannan elephant. Look at them all go. That's so cool. I wonder what this herd of elephants is going to think of the ones that are walking up on the dam wall. They're probably thinking, silly, come on, get in. Come have a swim. The water's great. Well, that's what I'd be shouting if I were the elephants that are swimming around. There is so much going on at this dam tonight. It is insane. We haven't even got to the hippos just yet. We'll get there eventually, though. We will definitely get there. Little elephant is not sure, sticking close to mom as well. But I think they're going to come into the same area. Let's see, have you even spotted that there's other elephants coming down yet? Beautiful. That's a very young elephant. Now, Isaac, you're wondering, how do elephants defend themselves? Well, they're massive in size, firstly. So just with that. And then they've got tusks, which they can use as well. Very big trunks. Look, they don't look too happy, eh? Look at this. Oh, mom on top is protecting her little baby, saying, stand back, get behind me, I'll sort this out. Looks like there's going to be an argument between the two moms. It's like somebody's stolen somebody's parking spot or pull chairs. There we go. Belinda, if you just saw that elephant that shook its head, then she answered your question for you, wondering how can you tell when an elephant is mad. There are a number of different signs. They shake their heads, they trumpet, they move their tails away from their body, they open their ears, they flare them out, and they talk to one another. Well, it doesn't look too bad. Perhaps it was just a little bit of confusion. Maybe they didn't know what was going on, but it actually seems to be quite calm now. All saying hello to one another again. All settling in. It'd be interesting to see what that big cow does at the back. If she's going to come in and greet the matriarch of the smaller herd of elephants. No, she's chasing them away. She's sending them off. She's saying, your pool time is over. It's our chance now. Hello, guys. Well, elephants are very social creatures. Very, very social. Not just with other elephants, but within their own members within the herd too. This is beautiful to see all these interactions. So many different things happening at once. Now, as we look at the elephants, we see the things that I'm drawn to most are their big ears, their tusks and their trunks. And Tasha, you're wondering if their trunks are their main tool. I suppose in combination with their tusks. But yes, their trunk is like an arm, really. That's what they're using to reach out and pull leaves off of branches, to strip the grass, to pick fruits. So they use that. Oh no. Wait, don't come near me. That elephant cow is chasing the others, but they're going to chase them straight towards me. So I just need to be careful and get out the way. Not that they cross with me. But I'm pretty sure they'd just run past the car, but I don't want to get stuck in between a dispute, that's for sure. Not these big animals. But then they also use their tusks, Tasha, for digging, for stripping bark, for doing all sorts of other things too. But we'll chat about that a little bit more in a bit. I'm going to send you across to Brent, and I think he's got an antelope of some sort.
Waterbuck does not know that the leopard is stalking it. So there's still quite a bit of distance, probably about 40 or 50 meters. And the leopard needs to be within, at the furthest, 10 meters to make a successful attempt. And the leopard's just over there, watching the waterbuck, probably more listening than watching. And now you'll see how well his camouflage works. You can see how the rosettes break up his outline. There he is there. He's not too hungry, but predators are opportunists, and if he can get a nice easy meal, he's not going to say no. Nitin is wondering, what type of animals do leopards eat? Nitin, small to medium-sized antelope. The waterbuck would be very big for him. The waterbuck's moved. I've lost sight of it now if he's watching the leopard. Now, okay, I've got it again. It's moving sort of behind us to the right here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it through the bushes, Dave. Just on the other side of this bush is where the waterbuck is, and it's not facing towards the leopard. Now, that's a very big kill, but he is a big adult male leopard, so he is capable of taking it down. The problem with taking down a kill of that size is that even though he's so strong, leopards normally take their food up trees, but that waterbuck will be too big for him to carry up a tree, so hyenas or lions might steal it from him. See how still he keeps while he's stalking, and when he moves, he'll actually put his back foot exactly where he puts his front foot. Now, what this does is make sure that he doesn't step on any branches or make any noise that might give away his position. Okay, now we're going to put on some special infrared lights as it gets dark so we can see what's happening in the dark without putting spotlights on and disturbing the leopard. So while we do that, let's go back to Taylor and some playful hippos.
Yes, and look at me, I can reverse back into the water. That was an interesting way to go back in. Very playful, very happy, very young, in fact. There's actually another one even closer, Seb. It looked like it might come out the water. We might get a chance to actually see how big they are. Look at that. And another baby. Yes, come on, hippos, aren't you yet? Oh, this is so cool. We're very lucky today. We've had the best game drive ever. It's been one of the better ones that I've indeed been on. Sometimes the bush can be very quiet. I think it was putting on a show for all of you this evening, so you count yourselves very lucky. You're going to try infrared. Seb's going to put his infrared on. We're going to see what it's like. There we go. Now we're in black and white. Now, Hayley, you're wondering what is the lifespan of a hippo? Well, I suppose they can live to about 30 years old, maybe even a little bit less than that. I always say that animals will live a lot longer when they're in captivity, which they shouldn't be. It's best that they're living out here. But in the wild, it's a tough life for them. So that was actually a young boy. That wasn't that hippo's mother, in fact. I was mistaken. Being like a submarine now, going underwater. All the little ones trying to follow in suit. That wasn't a very big hippo bull. He's still quite young. There'll be much bigger ones out here. There's also lots of mosquitoes that are now trying to bite Sebastian and I and steal our blood without our permission. How dare they? Hey, Seb? Very rude of them. So you may hear me stomping my feet every now and then to try and get them to stop biting me, because I'd always put insect repellent on before I go out on safari, but I probably should have brought some with me this evening to spray on my legs, but I didn't. So serves me right, or not. Seb's blowing all the insects that are biting his face now. Oh my goodness. But of course we are at the water's edge, so not only are there hippos that are living in here and all sorts of birds, there's fish and definitely lots and lots of insects, and hopefully we're going to see some frogs a little bit later too. And that's the idea. They're the hippos enjoying a midnight swim. They're skinny dipping. Close your eyes. All the elephants. Oh, I meant not hippos. I meant to say elephants. Here I am sitting watching the elephants swim around, all coming out the water now. I bet they've been told, the young kids, get out the pool, it's getting dark. Mom has called them on out now and said, right, fun time is over. Now, speaking about hippos, which Seb will find you some now. Hector, you're wondering how long can hippos stay underwater for? For quite some time, for about 6 minutes or so, they can hold their breath, so that's quite a long time. I don't think any of us could hold our breaths that long without some proper training. The elephants are now coming here. Hang on, Seb. Oi! Not in the dark, please, elephant. Hey, stop it. They're not happy with me now, because the light is not very good, you see. It's getting quite dark. I'm almost not able to see without my lights, and Mom has come over and said, I don't like you anymore, I don't trust you, I don't know what you're all doing. So I'm going to move out of this elephant's way. Bye! Stop being so grumpy. Look at them.
Well, poor Tingana didn't manage to catch the water buck. They spotted him and they snorted profusely, and he went into these very thick bushes here. I was just trying to get one last look. I mean, let's try from above. Other than that, it's time to go frogging. I'm going to look for some frogs. I think it's going to be much harder to find frogs than leopards today. It's not the best time of the year for frogging, right at the end of summer, but we shall try. I'm wondering if Tristan's got the same plan as me, because there's one spot I think there might be some noisy frogs left on Juma, and I know Tristan knows his frogs as well, so I'm wondering if we've got the same plan. Well, I'm going to have to drive down to my spot and find out, but in the meantime, let's go see if Tristan's managed to find an amphibian or three.